Well, welcome to Old Classic Car, and in this collection we're looking at Hillmans of the 1930s to the 1970s. And we begin with a very fetching Hillman Super Minx convertible in a dark graphite grey metallic paint scheme. Very smart it is too. So much so that I thought I'd include a second photo of it. This is a rear three-quarter view of the same car at an evening pub meet. Slightly earlier Hillman here. I think this one dates this Minx to about 1949 or 1950, but if anyone can tell me where that particular scene was, I'd be interested to know. Please let me know in the comments section. The first of several Hillman imps to feature here. This is a 1966 car. Here's the sporty version of the Hillman Avenger. This is the Hillman Avenger Tiger, this one from 1973. Pre-war Minx now. This is 1936 Hillman Minx Magnificent, restored in the livery of a Royal Navy staff car. Slightly more recent times now, a UJ198A, that's a four-door Hillman Super Minx on alley wheels, but otherwise looks fairly original. And to the NEC Classic Car Show, we've got one of the Aero series, or Aero line Hillman Minxes here. Sticking with Minxes, we've got the slightly earlier version here, this is from the mid-1960s. Another Avenger, another four-door Avenger on alley wheels, L registration car. That makes it 1972 to 1973, that particular registration ran for. And a period factory photograph now of a Hillman body shell. I believe that's the body shell for a 14 horsepower saloon. Clearly they've been weighing it. 318 pounds in weight in the main body shell. An early 1950s Hillman Minx is next. Doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon. And back to the NEC, and we've got a stunning pre-war Hillman Minx here, I'm guessing about 1934 or thereabouts. If your car appears in this particular video, please let me know in the comments. Another Hillman Avenger here, I think we spotted this one in Shrewsbury a few years ago, this one from 1969. The rear three-quarter view of a slightly modified Hillman imp here from 1974. Wide wheels, but otherwise looks fairly standard. Oh dear, this particular Minx had been pulled out of a hedge, EOK 324, that's 1938 Hillman Minx. The post-war Minx now, HCF 516, the particular car is a Mark 8, and this one was registered in May of 1955. Another imp, another rear view of an imp, a 1970 car this time in white. Big wheels again, big arches too. 46 HTJ, that was registered in April of 1959, an all over black car, four door. Another imp, this time showing its boot area up front, of course, because the imp is rear engine. An old period magazine, this one from 1937, featuring a road test of the Hillman 14. CVC 455, Coventry registered. To slightly more recent times, we've got a white Super Minx here, a C-Reg car from 1965. And the estate car version of the Hillman Minx here, UAM 139, that's a July 1959 Hillman Husky. And this was at Brooklands in 2021, we spotted this, a Hillman Aero Minx, very nice indeed. This is an Aero Minx Streamliner from 1934. Another 1959 or thereabouts Minx in two-tone white and red at the NEC. Real Bobby Dazzle that one. And a pair of Super Minxes here. We've got a 64 car in the distance and a 66 in the foreground. And talking of the 64 car, the further one, here's another photo of it with a period picnic set and radio, etc. This was a few years before. And here is the same car photographed a few years before that. At that time it was a all over blue colour, and later it clearly been resprayed and a white roof added. That's from 1964. And that's a pre-war years, and we've got this bright red 1938 Hillman Minx Foursome drop head coupe. To race retro, we've got a very smart 1965 Hillman Imp rally car here. And these two Minxes haven't been anywhere anytime recently, and it doesn't look like they'll be moving again for the foreseeable future. Another period photo from the image archive section on the main site. This is a circa 1928 14-horse 6-light saloon. 6-light, 3 windows down either side. Very smart Hillman Super Minx estate here in two-tone green. Period mini light style wheels. Real Bobby Dazzler that is, that was at the NEC. The rear view of a similar car, this time all over blue, from 1966. Another couple of Hillman Imps here. One in the foreground, it's from 1970. This was at Weston Park Classic Car Show in the mid-2000s, I think that was. And over to Weston Park in a similar time frame, about 2006 or 7, we've got a 1966 Hillman Super Minx and a period-looking caravan. Fantastic pair. Another Imp here, this was at Capesthorne Hall Classic Car Show this year, 2021. This particular car was built in 1967. Rear three-quarter view now of a Hillman Minx estate, the Aero line or Aero series estate car. Very practical car. A rally prepared Hillman Imp here, this one dates to 1965. A friend of mine owns this. This is HLM 940. This is a Minx from April of 1946. Post-war cars had those 3 stripes either side of the grille and a bigger boot area. And talking of Minxes, this is a G registration Minx, the Aero line 4-door saloon. '851 EUL is next. A very smart all-over grey July 1962 Hillman Minx. Very smart indeed. Period sun visor, extra badges and lamps. And to Capesthorne Hall again. And in the foreground we've got a two-tone green Hillman Super Minx from 1966. And over to Race Retro. And we've got this London to Sydney Marathon 1968 Hillman Hunter. Historic rally car, very smart indeed. FTW 934H, that's a Hillman Imp Californian from 1969 with the fastback styling. An old photograph now, head-on view of YPP 597, that's a 1956 Hillman Husky estate with luggage on the roof. There's a Ford 100E Prefect and a Morris Minor behind that. Back to the NEC, we've got this really smart Hillman Avenger estate. Continuing these classic Hillmans, we've actually got a Chrysler badged, so a late version of the Avenger estate. They became Chrysler in the early 1970s, this one's from 1976. This is a rarity, this was only made for about a year in 1948. It's a Mk2 Hillman Minx. Basically the pre-war main body shell but with a later front end. And the head-on view now of a 66 Hillman Super Minx. And that is followed by YBY281. That's a Hillman Minx Series 3C. And this particular car, very smart, dates to 1960. Again, sun visor, extra badges, etc. Now to pre-war, UJ2929. That's a Hillman Minx from March of 1934. VOH255, we spotted this back in 2006 at a car show in Wales. It's a Minx convertible from September 1957. To the Haynes Motor Museum, and we've got an Imp Californian here, about 1967 I think, there's a Trabant alongside it. And also at Haynes, we've got this very smart RVO 229. That's a Phase 8 Special Hillman Minx from 1955. Another Husky there for circa 1960 or 61. If you've got a favourite of all these Hillmans, please pop a note in the comments. Be interested to hear what you think about these cars. And quite a rare machine here. This is another Mk2 Minx, circa 1948, a drop-head coupe, bit of a restoration project. That's followed by a period photo of a fully up and running example. Looks like a very rare survivor. Only made for about 12 months or so. Now, two photos of a Super Minx convertible on wire wheels, 4430RU, Super Minx convertible from 1963. And here's the same car with the roof down, that's a different show. It's probably the only Super Minx I've ever seen on wire wheels. Delving into the archives again, we got another old black and white photo, this time of a 1955 Hillman Husky, with a Morris Oxford behind it. AYB963, the first of two photographs. This is a 1935 Hillman Minx Saloon Deluxe, a two-tone grey and black. Very smart. This was at the Cholmondeley Castle Classic Car Show quite a few years ago. Is that car still around? I assume it is somewhere, but I haven't seen it at a show around here since this particular event in the early 2010s. Another souped up Avenger Tiger here, BFR 7L, 1972-1973 car. The rear three-quarter view of a Welsh registered 1966 Hillman Minx. You can clearly see the more squared off rear window that the Minx of this particular era had. Prior to that it was a wraparound job. And to race retro again, we've got JDU 46E. This is an ex-works Hillman Imp rally car from 1967. Another period photo now, ELP 394. That's a 1937 Minx. Sunroof open, windscreen open, passenger door open. To more recent times, we've got a 65 Super Minx here, all over white, with Union Jacks flying. A 1965 Hillman Minx here, all over green, with a Singer Gazelle, a posh version alongside it. Over to a museum example now of a 1974 Hillman Imp in white. Lots of period garage goodies on display there. NFH 527, that's a February 1955 Minx. This was at the Astle Park Steam Rally back in 2007. And to delve into the image archive again, we've got WD8519. This is a Humber 2070 with a police officer or similar at the wheel. Into Goodwood Revival in 2006, we got this 1964 Hillman Super Minx convertible acting as a taxi. Also at Goodwood in 2006, we've got 811 DPA, it's a race-prepared Hillman Minx. This registration no longer shows up on DVLA, so is the car still around, or has it been re-registered perhaps? And two photos now of a stunning green 1934 Hillman Minx Foursome drophead coupe. This was at the Lakeland Motor Museum. Really smart little car that is, with a three-quarter view from the rear there. Still plenty of Hillmans to go. Next up, a 1965 Hillman Imp Saloon. Very nice shade of blue. Tan Park again. And the rear three-quarter view, this was at Bicester Heritage of two-tone JVS 326, which was registered in April of 1960, this particular Minx. The wraparound rear window you can see there. Another period shot now, JNW 213. This is a late 1930s Minx, complete with L plates. A young lady was learning to drive on that car at the time. I'm guessing that's 1950s sometime. And the K registration, 71, 1972 thereabouts Imp, on Ross style wheels. Bonnet pins as well, or boot lid pins I guess that would be. And so, museum over in Wales, we've got SYA 448, a maroon Hillman Minx from July of 1954. The related Singer Vogue behind it, which of course was based on the Super Minx. Talking of Super Minxes, we've got an all-over green estate here from 1966. Very practical, airy car. Really nice little car, that is. HJL862F is another Hillman Imp Californian, showing off its fastback styling. This one on period Wolf Race alley wheels, by the look of it. Weston Park again. 263JBU, that's a Super Minx, but this doesn't show up as registered on DVLA, so is this car still around somewhere? Perhaps re-registered, maybe it's lost its number, perhaps. And a military Hillman here, VDD95, that's a Hillman light utility from the World War II era. Just a few more to go now. Another Hillman Imp. This one is a 1970 car, and identical to one that an old boy up the road from me when I was growing up had one just like this. It may have even been this car, actually. Staying with imps, we've got a 1968 estate, or Hillman Husky, as it was called, of course. This one in polar white. The trio of Hillmans that are looking very sad and well past their sell-by date. Another sunny day and another Super Minx convertible, this one from 1964. A couple of extra badges on the grille, otherwise very original car. And to finish off, we've got a Sunbeam 1600 GT. In this country, of course, it was the Hillman Avenger, but other markets had different badging, and in this particular case, it was a Sunbeam. And that rally car rounds off this collection of photographs featuring classic Hillmans. I hope that was of interest. Please check out some of the other videos, which contain all sorts of British car routes-related content, and more videos along very, very soon. Bye for now.